Good morning, I'm Karl Stefanovic.
And I'm Deborah Knight. Our top stories this Wednesday.
Lockdown lawsuits. Daniel Andrews facing a new fight over Melbourne's strict curfew. One of 3 legal cases heading to court. Desperate Victorians saying enough is enough as regional centres enjoy restriction relief.
The battle over Qantas. This morning it's state versus state as our national carrier looks for a new home base with thousands of jobs on the line.
Border rethink. Queensland considers easing its hardline stance to New South Wales as South Australia gives the all-clear to visitors from the ACT.
Standoff. Melbourne police shoot a knife-wielding man. The drama unfolding on live radio, sparking a new debate around guns and tasers.
Plus, shiny, new Apple. The tech giant unveils their new generation gadgets, but are they worth the upgrade?
And an exclusive Seth Rogen on playing double duty for his new movie. He's our special guest today, Wednesday, the 16th of September, 2020. Is it Wacky Wednesday or Wonderful Wednesday?
I think it's a bit of wacky.
Bit of wacky
with Seth Rogen in the house.
Oh, yes.
And 2 Seth Rogens.
Double duty on
like
Seth
having
Rogen.
2 Debs.
Well, nothing like it, actually. He's funny. I'm kind of just,
You are very funny.
Well, wait for the coffee to kick in. Good morning. Great to have your company on this Wednesday.
It sure is. Victorians fed up with the restrictions are launching lockdown lawsuits against the state government amid damning claims about the bungled hotel quarantine program. Christina Hearn leads our coverage this morning. Good morning to you, Chris, again. Businesses are fighting back.
Karl.
Christina Hearn, thank you. Regional Victoria, meantime, is having its freedom fast-tracked with authorities labelling it as a test case for Melbourne. From 11:59 tonight, regional Victorians will no longer have any reason to stay at home. Melburnians are being warned not to rush to the regions, though, with extra police patrolling checkpoints.
The states are going head-to-head in a bidding war to secure Qantas headquarters, with New South Wales fighting to hold on to thousands of jobs. Today's Sydney reporter Gabrielle Boyle is at Qantas HQ in Mascot for us this morning. Gabby, so what states are actually throwing their hats into the ring here? Yeah, a lot on the line. Gabby Boyle in Sydney, thank you.
A Defence Force member has found himself on the wrong side of the law, caught allegedly breaching hotel quarantine in Sydney. The 26-year-old was in isolation after returning from deployment when ADF guards found a woman in her 50s in his room. It's understood she was a guest of the hotel. Now, both have been slapped with a $1,000 fine. Queensland could be softening its strict conditions for reopening borders, with talks reportedly underway. Today, Queensland reporter Jessica Millward is at the border at Cullen. Jess, good morning to you. What's potentially on the table? All right, Jess, thank you.
There's a renewed push this morning to see all frontline police carry tasers after officers were forced to shoot a man in Melbourne. The dramatic standoff unfolding live on radio, and a warning this audio may be confronting.
Police in black. Oh, they're shooting.
Isabella Stashkovsky is at the Royal Melbourne Hospital where the man is recovering. Isa, good morning to you. A very difficult situation for police there. Isa, thank you. And Neil will join the program a little later as well. In the meantime, a Melbourne police officer has been struck in the back of the head in a brawl in the city's outer west. Police allege 40 teens began throwing bottles at the officers in Harkness just after 5 last night. 3 males and a female have been arrested, while a police officer has been treated for non-life-threatening injuries.
The city of Louisville in Kentucky in the United States has reached a $16.4 million settlement with the family of Breonna Taylor, an African-American woman shot dead by police inside her apartment in March. The city also agreed to police reforms as part of the wrongful death lawsuit. Let's look at the markets right now, and on Wall Street, the Dow Jones has dipped into the red, but the S&P 500 is up. At home, the All Ords closed nearly 1 point higher. In London, the FTSE ended up 79 points in the green. Commodities, gold is slightly weaker. Oil is at $38 a barrel, and the Aussie dollar is doing better against the US dollar, buying 73 cents, but slightly down against the pence and the yen. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have tried their hand at bagel making this morning, visiting a famous bakery in London.
Bagels are good. You like bagels?
Never took off.
Cream
cheese?
cheese?
I just think it's kind of dull for them to have to go and do that stuff.
You reckon?
Know what I mean?
No, they're people of the people. Wouldn't mind a bagel anytime soon, actually. Maybe we can get our hands on one this morning.
Yeah.
Let's get a look at our weather for you today. And it's a good morning to Tim, who is out and about as always. Good morning.
I've got my art critiquing on, I've got my pen, I've got my pad, and I will be taking notes to see who has the best sculpture here.
Wow, you need a cravat, really, if you're doing art stuff.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
and a bagel.
Beautiful.
He does look he looks beach chic.
He always
does. You have
does.
to be careful saying.
Yes, that's it. He's very chic all the time. Well done, Tim.
We're a cat. Thank you, buddy. See you soon.
We'll check in with you again. Now, still to come this Wednesday, the most intense radio of his career. 3AW host Neil Mitchell relives the moment a police shooting unfolded live on air.
So dramatic. Plus, the Gold Coast nurse who risked her life to help others in Victoria's frontline fight against COVID-19.
And the boys are back in town. Gary Ablett and Joel Selwood are both set to return for the Mighty Cats just in time for the AFL Finals. That and more very soon.
Driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town. Boys are back.
Hi there. Hi there to you. Great to have your company on this Wednesday. Let's get all the entertainment news. Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning, Deb. Big news this morning for Star Wars fans. Your first look at the new season of The Mandalorian. Baby Yoda is back and he's cuter than ever. Have a look. Oh, he's just so cute. The Mandalorian will land on Disney Plus from the 30th of October. And in even more good news for Star Wars fans this morning, Disney Ushies are available today in Victorian Woolworths stores and online customers. So that means a few lucky Victorian shoppers could now get their hands on one of those ultra rare The Child Ushies. That is, of course, Baby Yoda's from The Mandalorian's real name. And Casey Donovan has taken part in an inspiring new campaign lending her vocal talents to Wheelchair Sports New South Wales' new single. It's called How I Roll. That is so cool. All proceeds from the track go to supporting programs for people with disabilities. So there you go.
Lovely program.
Yeah, fantastic.
Hey, I love The Mandalorian. Love it so much.
It's a great show, so put 30th of October in your diary.
I will, and I didn't know that these Ushies things was a thing. Until Ushies.
Ushi.
No, it's an Ushi.
Ushi.
You don't say sushi though, do you?
No, but it's an Ushi.
But anyway, my daughter's got them yesterday and she's going through them and throwing them out. She goes, oh, this one's worth $150.
And they change colour. You can put them in hot water and they change colour and they go orange or white. They're very cool.
Those people at Disney are smart, aren't they?
They're very cool.
Plenty more still to come. Today's top stories. Can't wait for that Seth Rogen interview a little bit later on, but first to a coronavirus class action. The Victorian government dealt a fresh blow as a civil claim is launched on behalf of workers who lost their jobs during the second wave. Christina Hearn leads our coverage this morning. Chris, another headache for the Premier. That'll be interesting. Chris, thank you.
Growing pressure over state borders may have got to Queensland, with reports the government is considering relaxing its strict criteria requirements. Today, Queensland reporter Jessica Millward is at the border at Cullen. Good morning to you, Jess. What are you hearing?
Police continue to be very, very busy. I just want to show you a scene that's unfolding right now. This van tried to cross the border. The driver didn't have a border declaration pass, so he was waved around the corner. There's been some sort of an altercation with police. They've clearly found something inside that vehicle, and as you can see there, he's now in cuffs on the ground. We are waiting for more police to come in and take him away. So clearly it's still a very busy time for our officers on the border here. Alex?
Busy, Jess, indeed. We'll come back to you soon. Thank you. A quick splash of sport right now, and it's the end of an era at Carlton, with Cade Simpson calling full-time on his 18-year career. Roosters skipper Boyd Cordner has been named to face the Sharks. That's despite suffering a head knock last weekend. Let's get your weather right now with Tim. He's on the Gold Coast. G'day, Tim.
Once you put these art pieces here on the beach, it is quite fascinating to see how the surrounds really also bring them to life. Fragmented reality. Come and see a piece of yourself somewhere in here, guys. And we'll see much more of Swell in half an hour.
And that's exactly how I felt on Logie's morning.
Smashed into a million pieces. Beautiful day. Thank you, Tim. Now, just ahead, a police shooting unfolds live on radio. 3AW host Neil Mitchell relives the ordeal. He'll join us next. And Taria Pitt joins us live on family, life in lockdown, and her brand new book. She is wonderful. She's a little bit naughty too. I can't wait to catch up with Taria Pitt, and she'll join us shortly here on Today.
Seniors claiming their dream retirement in an over-55s village is a living nightmare. They're warning for all retirees. 9 News tonight.
Welcome back to the show. A dramatic police shooting has unfolded live on air. 3AW's Neil Mitchell describing the moment as the most intense radio of his career.
Neil, it must have been just quite gobsmacking to hear all that play out.
I've done a lot of calls over the years from people describing dramatic things happening, but never has one, I guess, stunned us and my staff as that one did.
You've got people with mental health trying to get into facilities that are being overrun and they're not being cared for. You have the police who are working tirelessly in the face of altercation after altercation. There's more domestic violence, there's more mental health issues. It's all building into even more of a pressure cooker. How are we going to ease that pressure?
Come out of the lockdown.
And your coverage has been exemplary during this period as well, Neil.
Good to
Thank
talk
you
to
for
you,
your
Neil.
time.
Thank you. Well, coming up, back in business, regional Victoria reopening after getting the green light from the Premier.
And a Seth Rogen exclusive for you today. The Hollywood funny man on his bizarre new comedy and what he really thinks of President Trump. All that, plenty more. You're watching Today. Welcome back. Well, Daniel Andrews is facing a new fight over Melbourne's strict lockdown this morning, with the Victorian government hit with a number of new legal challenges.
In one, a cafe owner taking the Premier to the Supreme Court over the state's tough restrictions, and in another, a class action over job losses in the wake of Melbourne's second wave.
Lawyer Tony Carbone is fronting that class action and he's joining us now. Tony, good morning to you. How many people potentially are going to be involved in this?
G'day, Deb. G'day, Karl. Oh, look, we could be looking at thousands of people, Deb.
So I presume the government will argue public safety was paramount in all of this. How are you going to argue against that?
It's got nothing to do with the issue about public safety. What's happened here is that they bungled the hotel quarantine program, and effectively that led to the second wave. Because of that, we got stage 3 lockdown in July, then we got stage 4 in August. What that meant was everyone had to shut down as well.
The Victorian government is going to argue public safety. There's no doubt about that. They're going to say that everything they did was as a result of the threat of COVID. What chances do you think you're going to have of winning a case like that?
As far as I'm concerned, on the issue of liability, the case is very strong.
All right, we'll see how you go with it. Keep it covered. Good on you, Tony.
Thank you. Alex has your news headlines now. Good morning to you, Alex.
Good morning, Karl, and thank you. A dramatic arrest on the Queensland-New South Wales border this morning as the state government considers softening its tough stance on the border lockdown. Western Australian Premier Mark McGowan is calling on Scott Morrison to let Australian travellers stranded overseas to quarantine in defence bases and detention centres, like the facility on Christmas Island. With backpacking through Europe off the cards, school leavers are being encouraged to spend their gap year fruit picking, with a parliamentary committee considering offering uni discounts to attract young people to the regions. Now, when you lose your phone in a jungle, you don't expect to get it back. But it was a lucky day for a Malaysian man who not only found the device, but this surprising addition to the camera roll.
They're very clever.
Aren't they
Isn't
smart?
that great?
It seems the phone had found itself in the hands of an inquisitive monkey who decided to take some selfies, even some videos.
That's cool.
Maybe it was after the new Apple.
The watches.
That's it.
We will talk to Trevor a little bit later.
iPhone 12. The mind boggles. Let's get your sport right now. And Josh Papali is set to become a Raider for life after signing a monster contract extension. The Swans have stood down teenager Elijah Taylor from all club commitments after he was charged with assaulting his ex-girlfriend. And Australian cricket coaches are hopeful that Steve Smith will take on England in tonight's one-day series decider, but admit he's no certainty to return after suffering concussion. Let's get back to the Gold Coast for your weather. G'day, Tim.
There it is, the Gold Coast in the distance, and some little heads bobbing around here on the point this morning, enjoying a nice morning surf before heading off to work. No better way to start the day, is there? We've got lots more to show you here at the Swell Sculpture Festival, guys. I'll see you just after 7 o'clock.
Fantastic.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
day. Look at that waves as well, and the surfers out in force. Lovely stuff. Now up next, more on the big news from Qantas this morning as they look to relocate their national base. So where will the airline land?
And Apple announces a whole swathe of new products and upgrades. Our tech expert, Titan of Terror, Trevor Long, has your first look. This is Today on 9. We're back in a moment with a swathe of stuff.
Happens a swathe.
Power Shock. How Peter and Marianne were overcharged for 15 long years.
It's just like talking to a rock.
Every quarter slugged 400% more.
So for every $100, I'm paying $500.
And this meter's to blame.
They shouldn't even be in existence.
Do you have one? A current affair tonight.
Join our Today Show family at todayshow.com.au. Sign up to hear from Karl and Ali and get the chance to win great prizes, all straight to your inbox.
Yeah, it's so good to have so many of you already signed up to our newsletter, and we'll be hitting send on our latest edition around lunchtime today.
Do you actually hit the send button?
I do personally.
Excellent.
Do it, yeah.
That's so good. Join in the fun and wait for that send button to be pushed by Karl.
Nice.
Now, it is shaping up as one of the biggest economic battles of the pandemic, state versus state, as Qantas looks for a new home, part of the Flying Kangaroo's COVID cost-cutting measures. To discuss, I'm joined by Queensland Senator Matt Canavan and Stella Magazine's Sarah Lamarquand. Good morning to you both. I'll start with you, Matt, first. We've got Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, all bidding for the national carrier. Huge prize economically, of course, but Queensland, you guys are just getting greedy, aren't you?
Should come home to Queensland. I'd love to see it to back up here. And
there's so much at stake here, Sarah. 7,000 jobs are on the line, and effectively no state can afford to lose this. We need all the economic help we can get.
I just think we've got to be careful that this is not state of origin we're talking about. It's people's livelihood.
Reports from Queensland that the consideration is there to soften the strict conditions to reopen to New South Wales. 28 days with no community transmission could be halved to 14. A welcome step, Matt, in the right direction. We need it, don't we?
I actually think the pollsters are making the decisions in Queensland because Anastasia Palaszczuk's only focused on the election, not actually fighting this pandemic properly.
Is it politics at play here, Sarah?
I think probably this decision is showing what a farce the border issue has become, and I think it's time that they all have to be lifted.
Yeah, and at a time when we are seeing the rate of COVID transmission and new cases coming down, so a lot of people are wondering why have we got these lockdowns at the moment anyway. Have a look at this. This is an ad on Google for a women's spray mop, gender specific. Sarah, who knew that cleaning products were for women? What's going on?
Deb, who knew? Is it 2020? I just think I suddenly fell back into the 1950s.
Yeah. Who does the mopping at your joint, Matt?
Well, I'm stuck in home quarantine at the moment. Yeah, I've had to do the inside housework at the moment thanks to Anastasia Palaszczuk's borders.
Good dig in there, good dig in there. Well done. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks, Deb.
Do you know, I reckon...
Have a good day.
Who does the mopping in your house?
Well, I don't. We've got wooden floorboards.
Have you?
So it's mostly just the stick vacuum. I love the stick vacuum.
Yeah.
It's
I like
so
the
good.
vacuum.
I'm more into the vacuum, yeah.
I like vacuuming. I think it's therapeutic.
Yeah, it's great.
It's cool.
Really good.
And I do the gutters and the...
Do you?
No. But I do reckon...
You're too busy hitting send on
That's
the
it.
newsletter.
I'm writing that stuff all the time. Hey, also, on that, I reckon that's a great idea for university students to get out to our farms.
Definitely.
I did it when I was a young fella. I was going to uni in Brisbane, but Mum lived in Cairns, so I got up to Cairns and I went up to my mate Al Regina. His family had a farm in Dimbula. We got mango picking.
It is tough work, but I think
hard work.
in this climate, it'd be a really great idea having that gap year here at home.
Completely, and also anything to reduce your HECS debt. I mean, it's a big thing when you come out of uni to pay back over years and years and years. I think it's a really good initiative, and hopefully it'll get up.
Yeah, we'll see how we go with it. Now, still to come this morning, regional Victoria, it's reopening after getting the green light from Premier Dan Andrews.
Plus, Taria Pitt joins us live on Family, Life in Lockdown, and her brand new book, We Love Her. We love Brooke too, and she's here with entertainment. Morning, Brookie.
Oh, and I love you guys right back.
No, you don't.
I absolutely do. Come on. Coming up, some sad but expected news this morning for Harry Styles fans on his upcoming Aussie tour.
No.
And it is finally here, guys. Your very first look at the brand new season of The Mandalorian. All those details and the rest of your entertainment news right after the break. Stay with us.
It is great to have your company on this Wednesday. Let's get entertained. Here is Brooke.
Well, Karl, I've got some sad news for you this morning. Harry Styles' Australian tour has officially been postponed. Following backlash from fans after Ticketek claimed the event would proceed as planned, Harry made the announcement over Twitter saying everyone's health and safety remains our top priority, which is why I unfortunately have to postpone all 2020 shows. And rap royalty are calling it quits. Hip-hop superstar Cardi B has reportedly split from her husband Offset amid cheating allegations. According to court documents, Cardi has filed for divorce from the Migos member. The pair secretly wed back in 2017 and have a 2-year-old daughter together, Culture, who Cardi is seeking primary custody for. So WAP, I think now stands for Wanted a Prenup.
Yes. I saw that new Cardi B song and the clip that's #1 at the moment.
Racy?
Very racy, Deb. Not suitable for
Racy,
work.
says the old lady in a rocker. It's a bit racy.
I don't know. My daughter said there are all these TikTok things going on overseas where kids of really Christian parents are playing it to their parents and for the shock value.
Oh, really?
Yeah. and look, I'm pretty used to this kind of thing, but my daughter played it to me and I was...
It shocked you. If it shocks you, we know it's big.
Do you know what? I'm going to play it for you, Deb, and I'm going to film your reaction.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Alrighty.
That's coming up a little later in the show. Today's top stories right now. All that is coming up a little bit later in the program. Good to have your company this morning. We begin with a dramatic arrest on the Queensland-New South Wales border this morning as pressure mounts on the government to soften its tough stance on the tough border lockdown.
Victoria Police are reinforcing a ring of steel around Melbourne as regional areas prepare to relax restrictions. From 11:59 tonight, the stay-at-home order will be lifted for the regions. Outdoor gatherings will increase to 10 and restaurants will be allowed to reopen with capacity limits.
Now, the shocking video which has emerged of a man reportedly trying to kidnap a toddler in a Melbourne park. There it is. Let's go to Isabella Stashkovsky now. Isa, disturbing video. Take us through what happened.
Have been speaking to Victoria Police this morning to get some validity around this story. We'll have more details for you as they come. Karl?
Encouraging sign to see everyone come there right at the end of that video to see to try and help that man and try and help him recover. But this initially, imagine for that father, just for a second, what it would be like. That attack happens. He gets belted in the face a number of times, as Isa was saying. This man here who comes in with the white hat really tries to help out. And that's so encouraging and so brave of him. He can't really do much at this point, but then manages to help wrestle him off. And then the guy goes down. That is really great to see.
What an extraordinary situation.
Yeah, it really is.
US President Donald Trump has this morning declared the dawn of a new Middle East, overseeing an historic peace agreement at the White House. Let's cross to our US correspondent Tim Avia for the latest on this. So, Tim, what exactly has been signed here? All right, Tim Avia, thank you.
And let's get a quick hit of your sport this morning. And the cavalry is arriving for Geelong.
Wow.
Yes.
There he is.
That pause there.
That's
Yeah,
the whole
dramatic.
cavalry.
That's the whole
Very
cavalry.
dramatic.
Isn't it dramatic? It is for Cats fans, with Gary Ablett and skipper Joel Selwood both set to take on the Swans on Sunday.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Now, coming up in 60 seconds, should all frontline officers carry tasers? Victoria's Police Association joins us next.
And the dire warning from a Gold Coast nurse who caught COVID-19 while helping on Victoria's front line.
Right now, though, let's get a look at your local weather with Tim, who is in a beautiful part of the world. Good morning.
Plenty of room for the crowds to socially distance. And while other visitors from interstate and even some of the artists that have created these from all over the world and around the country as well, they haven't even seen their artworks on display, it is nice to know this morning that we can bring some of them to you in your lounge room. Karl?
Love a little right-hander behind you too for all the surfers on the Goldie. Thank you so much, mate. Talk to you soon. Well, Victoria's police union is today calling for all frontline officers to carry a taser after they were forced to open fire on a knife-wielding man in Melbourne. This was the incident. Wayne Gatt is the Secretary of the Police Association Victoria and joins me now from Melbourne. Wayne, good morning to you. I find it difficult to believe that officers didn't have tasers in the first place. Why don't they?
Perhaps in this situation, a taser might have been another option available to police to help them.
You want police to have everything they can possibly have. They need to be armed with everything they can in order to resolve situations as peacefully as they can, right?
Oh, absolutely. And using lethal force should be the last resort. It is the last resort. But if the more tools we have, the less likely it is that police are going to have to make that horrible decision, one they had to make again yesterday. Underlining even that incident is a mental health crisis. Somebody who had to wait 19 hours to get support and then fought their way out of hospital in sheer frustration. That shouldn't happen, Karl.
No,
that shouldn't happen.
I don't know that there's a tougher job. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it. Deb.
Karl, thank you. Now, this was the ultimate act of selflessness. A Gold Coast nurse putting her hand up to join Victoria's virus front line. Unfortunately, though, for Topaz Stringfellow, it was a move that saw her end up in a hospital bed just weeks after her arrival. She tested positive to COVID-19. You put your body on the line to help others here. There's always a risk of this happening, but I guess you never assumed that it would happen to you, that you would be the one testing positive.
Deb, I certainly hoped that I wouldn't test positive, but it was a risk that I had accepted, like many other frontline healthcare workers, since this pandemic started.
Well done you for helping others along the way, like you were initially too. Good on you, Topaz. Thanks for joining us.
The states are gearing up for one of the biggest showdowns of the pandemic as Qantas looks for a new home base with thousands of jobs on the line. So where will the flying kangaroo land? A strong contender is Western Sydney, and we're joined now by Liverpool Mayor Wendy Waller. Wendy, good morning to you. When you're sitting across from Alan Joyce, you start with and end with Liverpool. It's the centre of the universe.
Well, it is the centre of the universe and always has been.
Meg, best of luck with it. We all need these jobs in our areas, don't we? And we appreciate your time today.
We do.
Good on you. Nice
Thank
to see
you very much, Karl.
Pleasure.
See you then.
Still to come this Wednesday, frontline workers say thank you to Victorians for sticking together during lockdown. Their beautiful message is ahead. Plus, Brooke sits down exclusively with Hollywood funny man Seth Rogen on his hilarious new comedy. Love this guy. Plenty more still to come. Back after this.
Now, we like to look at the positives.
We do.
Country Victoria finally has something to celebrate. Regions now given the green light to reopen after almost 6 weeks of lockdown.
Dargo Hotel, one of the best in the business, is one venue getting ready for first drinks, and owners Stephen and Helen Hall. How did you react when you first heard the news?
Smiles, cheering, about time. We're just really, looking forward to it.
How long have you guys been together for?
Too long.
Oh! Helen just shakes her head.
22 years.
22 years.
Hey, Stephen, for all those wondering why she would have put up with you, just take a step back if you can. 1 metre, Stephen. Sun's out, guns out. Check him out. Look at those arms.
Yeah.
It's just a delicious-looking fella. Well done, you guys.
You're going to cop it on Friday when the pub's open, I tell you.
That's it.
Oh, they're
Great
fantastic.
stuff, mate.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Good on you. Thanks, Steve. Thanks,
Says
Helen.
everything, doesn't it? They've been through so much this year. Small business owners, and
Absolutely.
I know it's still catastrophic for those in the city, but for those in the regional areas, at least that's a step in the right direction for them.
Yeah, it is good news. All right, let's get the latest news now with Alex.
A Perth hitchhiker handed the harshest penalty in the country for breaching quarantine laws has won her appeal. Darius Winterfeld is outside Perth Supreme Court. Darius, good morning to you. The woman will now serve community service. All right, Darius, thank you. Now, this, folks, is incredible. Drone footage shows a flock of 10,000 ducks flooding into paddy fields. Look at that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a farm in Thailand after the rice crop is harvested. It's a lot of ducks.
Quack,
quack. Quack, 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 quack. And more quacks.
They do a good duck rice paper roll in Thailand.
They do indeed. A bit of soy sauce.
Or the duck pad thai.
Bit of oyster
Pancakes
sauce.
are quite
Delicious.
good too.
Lovely.
Delicious.
Beautiful. Anyway, let's get to your sport. And it's the end of an era at Carlton, with Cade Simpson calling full-time on his 18-year career. Now, this, folks, is an incredible runaway try. Watch this. And I mean runaway. A rising star from Sydney's southeastern Seagulls couldn't be stopped. She just keeps running.
I saw this last night and I watched it and watched it and watched it.
What
it's
happened?
so good.
She just keeps running.
She's so excited that she's doing it, but that she just kept going. It's like, no.
But where's she running to?
She's just around. Come
Look
on,
at
Eva. Yes.
She's having the time of her life.
Absolute
So good.
ball.
That's lovely.
Good on it. And then this bloke just ruins it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it.
But they're in there to help her out.
He's the only one with headgear.
That's right, no. Take that, he says. She's tough. Good on you, Eva. Well done. Let's get back to the Gold Coast now and check on today's weather with Tim.
If the crowds are here on the weekend, no doubt they'll be able to come down and share the joy of what these artists have created and maybe get in touch with them on social media. Anyway, lovely to see you both. We'll be back next year, guarantee it. Lots more to show you from Currumbin Beach in half an hour, gang.
Fantastic.
Yeah, cracking
I
event,
love
cracking
that.
day.
I love art on a beach.
Yeah, it's very cool. Good stuff, Tim. We'll check in again soon. Let's get a hit of entertainment now with Brookie.
And it is also a big day for Star Wars fans today as well. Our first look at the highly anticipated return of The Mandalorian and, more importantly, Baby Yoda.
Consume it with great gusto.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thanks,
Well,
guys.
from bushfires to coronavirus, Australians have dealt with it all this year, haven't we? But lately it's Victorians who have been hit the hardest. So Ambulance Victoria have put together a video to thank them for following lockdown orders and keeping frontline staff safe.
Now, the CEO of Ambulance Victoria, Tony Walker, joins us now. Tony, that just sums up so beautifully what everyone have been through, all of us have been experiencing, and the amazing work that you and your colleagues do. It's just wonderful.
They wanted to give something back to the community and thank them for all they've done to help us.
How are your people going on the front lines?
So they're doing okay.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Appreciate it.
Isn't it lovely? Now, up next this morning, money for free. How good? The simple new scheme helping you get your hands on some cold, hard cash. Our money expert, Effie Zahos, has the details.
How good, huh? It's like, you know, when we were going to
No, I've very much been looking forward to this chat.
Me too.
She's one of the most recognisable faces in Australia. But before Taria Pitt was a bushfire survivor, she was just an average Aussie.
Now she's released a book of her top tips on how to find happiness, and she joins us now. A big round of applause for Taria.
Taria.
Hey.
Good morning. Good
Nice to
morning,
see
Karl.
you.
Good morning, Deb. Thanks so much for having me.
Pleasure, pleasure. How have you been keeping during this time of the pandemic?
You know what? I really question whether or not writing a book about happiness would be relevant during this crazy ass year that we've had of 2020. But I think it's probably more than relevant.
Did you know when you reached that bottom, or were there times when you just kind of kept falling, or did you maintain that positivity through it all?
It's perfectly normal to not feel on top of the world every day, and tomorrow hopefully will be a better day than today. And so that's really how I approached my journey, just one day at a time.
I'm super impressed at how neat your kitchen is, you know, as a mum of little kids.
I mean, look at your magnificent hair. You could do a Weller commercial.
Yeah.
I can tell a Weller woman by the way she wears her hair.
You should set me up. You should set me up with them, Karl. So I feel you. I feel you there.
There you go, right there. Weller, call us.
There's a reason you're a cover girl on the Women's Weekly, because you are stunning. We love you to
shot.
bits, and we can't wait to get our hands on your book, and it is entitled Happy.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Pleasure. Up next, Victoria Police enforce a ring of steel to keep Melbourne residents out of regional areas. We're there live right after this.
Welcome back. First to breaking news out of Victoria, where police are right now reinforcing Melbourne's ring of steel ahead of easing restrictions in regional areas. Mark Santamartino is at a checkpoint in Donnybrook this morning. Good morning to you, Mark. What is happening where you are? A busy day ahead, Mark. Thank you. Thousands of Victorians who have been left without work by Stage 4 restrictions are expected to join a class action against the state government. Lawyers behind the civil claim are pushing for compensation for those who've been affected by the lockdown, saying that the second wave is a direct result of mistakes made by the Andrews government. ACT residents will no longer have to spend 14 days in quarantine when entering South Australia. But the state is holding off on scrapping restrictions for New South Wales residents. AMA Vice President Chris Moy says it's a great result for the ACT.
There is some great sense that ACT should be opened up because they haven't had a community transmission for something in the order of 10 weeks.
Let's check your sport right now. And the Roosters skipper Boyd Cordner has been named to face the Sharks despite suffering a head knock last weekend. And the Swans have stood down teenager Elijah Taylor from all club commitments after he was charged with assaulting his ex-girlfriend in Perth. Let's get a final check of your weather with Tim right now. G'day, Tim.
A few clouds around here today. That's that onshore flow I was telling you about earlier this morning that is bringing a little bit of cloud to Queensland, also the New South Wales and Tasmanian coastlines. We are expecting to see this break up throughout the day, and we're going to have a sunny afternoon here on the Gold Coast and sunshine tomorrow morning, because I'm going to stick around in these parts. Tomorrow morning I'll be coming to you live from beautiful Burleigh Heads, team. Looking forward to that. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Oh, you're just showing off now.
Never.
That bed's perfectly
It's doing
placed
all
for
the
a
showing
nap.
off for me.
Look at that bed
Yeah.
there. Just go and have a little nap.
No.
Beautiful day. Good on you, Tim.
Thank you, buddy.
Now, motorists across the country could save hundreds of dollars a year in a new scheme that would allow more transparency in petrol pricing. How welcome would that be? But if you're a resident of Victoria and the ACT, do not hold your breath. The state and the territory are the only ones holding out against this plan.
Joining us now to break it all down is Joel Gibson from Nine Saver. Joel, good morning to you. How exactly will this work when it goes ahead?
You whip out your phone, it shows you a map of the petrol stations near you and the current petrol price as of the last 15 minutes, and you go to the cheapest one. And sometimes I've seen examples where you can save 50 cents a litre by doing that.
Thank you so much, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, good idea. Now, coming up, Erin Brockovich. She's back with a new legal battle. The legend is joining us live.
Amazing. And we surprise a very deserving nurse working tirelessly on Melbourne's front line. This is another beautiful story for you. Thanks for waking up with today. Welcome back to the show. Well, our frontline doctors and nurses are doing it incredibly tough at the moment, and none more so than in Victoria. Ray Condello is a nurse at the Royal Melbourne Hospital's COVID ward.
And Ray is seen as a bit of a father figure to his team. He's an incredible fella.
So we want to recognise you this morning, and we've organised a big surprise for you.
There he is.
You're just walking out right now, huh?
Now, we heard that your bike, which is the way you get around, was nicked, was stolen from the front of the hospital. So you know what?
Yes, obviously someone had greater need than I did.
Oh, it must have been upsetting for you, though.
So, yeah, it was a bit of a shock.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, we've got some good friends who are helping us out here. 99 Bikes have organised you a new, fully equipped, fabulous bike for all of your commuting.
I'm just overwhelmed. I'm really, I don't know what to say other than thank you and thank you.
You deserve
really,
it, Ray.
Wow.
There, go on, get on it, Ray, and give it a try through the G there.
It's even got a drink bottle.
Yeah.
It's our way of giving back to you, because I know that you are a really well-respected, well-loved member of the team at the hospital, and the work you do, it's quite selfless.
If you fall off that bike where you are, it's not far to go to the hospital. Thank you so much, mate. Well done. And 99 Bikes, thank you too.
How good.
Yeah, it's the best.
Isn't that wonderful?
The best. Still to come, Australia's most compelling case files reopened. Just ahead on Today. Back in a sec. Welcome back. 9 a.m. or just after. Here's Alex with your headlines.
Thank you, Karl. First to breaking news right now, and the coronavirus numbers have just been released in Victoria. There have been 42 new cases in the past 24 hours and 8 lives lost. Melbourne's 14-day average has now dipped below 50, with the city on track to ease restrictions. And Dreamworld will reopen today on the Gold Coast. The theme park was forced to close in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic, costing the company millions of dollars. Brooke.
Time for a quick update on entertainment for you, and to no one's surprise, the event organiser Live Nation has confirmed that Harry Styles' Australian tour will not be going ahead.
No!
Meanwhile, Pink has gotten candid about her relationship with husband Carey Hart. Taking to Instagram, the pop star said, "Marriage is awful, wonderful comfort and rage. It's boring, terrifying and a total nail-biter. But I'll tell you what, it's worth it." We're all about sharing what the kids are up to these days, aren't we?
The crazy kids.
Yeah, and so I saw my daughter, who's 15, showed me the Cardi B latest film clip that's #1 all around the world at the moment. It's pretty full on, right? So we decided to show, and all the kids on TikTok are showing their parents and getting their parents' reaction. Yes. Now, not that I'm labelling you
I'm an
as,
old lady in a rocker.
That's what I wasn't going to say, but it kind of fits in with what we're trying to do here. So we showed Deb during the ad break, Cody B. Now we can't play the music because it's a little risque, so we're going to match some other music with it. But this is Deb's reaction to the latest Cardi B music video. Take it away.
I seriously can't believe that that's what the kids are watching.
I know, no one can believe
That's
it.
why you need to check your son's phone.
Yeah,
I'm
you do.
so, I'm totally checking the parental controls when I get home.
That stuff should be banned. Anyway, that was a great reaction.
It's educational.
Yeah.
I've learned something.
Yeah.
You didn't even need the sound. Your face said it all.
Yes! Summing it up the mood.
And now everyone is going to listen to that. They're Googling it right now.
I think that's what you call being Cardi B.
That's a wop face.
Totally Cardi B. Whoa.
A what face?
A wop face.
I can't unsee that now. My face is all what I saw.
Look, you can't unsee some things, Deb. It's so great to see you.
Enya.
Enya. Hey, it's great to be back, especially after that.